Hi, my name is Aidan Shadis and I'm a senior at Hawaii Pacific University. For my residential honors program senior capstone project, I decided to address the problem of overcrowded skate parks on Oahu. I decided to try and help with this because I don't think that many other people will. The skateboarding community is marginalized and very often misunderstood. Skaters get a bad rep with the public for being loud, damaging property, and putting other people at risk for injury when they skate in the streets. However, when they skate in areas designated for skating, there generally aren't any problems. Unfortunately, skate parks aren't always the safest option for the skaters themselves. When skate parks get crowded, the risk of crashing into other people and hurting them or yourself is increased. Because of this, a lot of skaters, myself included, don't like to skate in crowded parks. When we see that a park is too crowded, we either decide not to skate or we move to the street. When I began skating here, I was blown away by how many other people were at the parks. No matter which park I went to, it felt like they were always packed. I did some research and found out that for the estimated skate community of over 30,000 people on Oahu, there are only 13 registered skate parks, one of which is currently undergoing renovations. This disproportionately low number of places designated for skating is the reason that the parks here are so crowded, and it's what's pushing more skaters to move to the streets. Since the streets are not designed to be skated, the obstacles that skaters find, such as staircases, ledges, and railings, just to name a few, are generally much more dangerous than anything at the park, not to mention moving cars and the risk of colliding with pedestrians or cyclists. In addition to being more dangerous, I've identified street skating to be the root of the poor relationship between skaters and non-skaters. Street skating is banned in most public places because, like I previously mentioned, it's loud, can damage property, and has the potential to cause injury to pedestrians, drivers, and the skaters themselves. I realized that by creating a new place on island for people to skate, I could get some skaters off the street and divert some of the traffic away from the parks, effectively improving their safety in the way that the public looks at skateboarding as a sport, if only even just a little bit. I turned to Sheepside for inspiration. Sheepside is an extremely popular do-it-yourself skate park built in the woods of North Shore. It was built entirely by skaters, for skaters, and funded through donations. It's the perfect example of what I believed I needed to do to help out the community. Found it at my feet, staring at the sea. All the glitter is gold. Before I could even begin to think about how I would get all the materials to build my own skate park, I needed to determine a location for it. I spent months scouting the island in my free time for a good place to build, but unfortunately, I didn't find any space that I could use. All of the potential spots that I identified were privately owned, and I was unable to obtain permission to build on them. I was scared that I wouldn't be able to carry out my project, but then I got the idea to build in the yard behind my own house. I was surprised when my landlord gave me permission, but I didn't question it. I had secured a spot for the park. The next step was acquiring materials. As a broke college student, I didn't have the money to buy all the wood to build a skate ramp, so I had to get creative. I went to a skate park and started asking around to see if anyone there knew where I could find cheap materials or knew of a really affordable way to build something that people could skate on. By pure luck, I met a kid named Tayo, whose family had built a ramp in their own backyard. They were moving and they needed somebody to remove it. After talking to his dad and getting permission to come take the wood, I had successfully secured the majority of the supplies that I would need to build the ramp. With the help of a few friends, I disassembled the ramp and transported all of the materials to my house. I then began the build. Since some of the wood from the original ramp was rotten, I needed to purchase a new top layer to skate on. I wanted to make the ramp smooth and safe so that nobody could get hurt on it. I knew that these materials would not come cheap, so I reached out to all of the skaters that I knew and held a fundraiser at my house. My fundraiser was met with an overwhelming amount of support, and through donations alone, I was able to completely fund the restoration of the ramp. This was a ramp for the people, made possible by the people. Throughout the remainder of the semester, dozens of skaters came over to use the ramp. As proof, I had everyone who successfully dropped into it sign the side of the ramp. I had successfully created a skate spot that would draw skaters away from the crowded parks and away from the streets. I believe that the benefits of having another skate park on island will spread far past the island skate community and will be reflected by less property damage and less emergency room visits due to street skating. Thank you for watching.